the way this album came to be and the concept behind it is, I think, is very unique, if I can say very unique. As opposed to most lullaby records where you're sitting there and because I'm sure you've bought some of them at Babies R Us or Target or whatever.
Yep.
And we have 2 kids, so we have our fair share of a stack about this tall of boring lullaby records. I've had this idea for years while I've done other lullaby projects for something that sounds more sophisticated, something that sounds fuller, bigger, a little bit more the American President's Daughter spinning on the ballroom from an aerial camera type of sound, motion picture, big orchestra, waltz kind of thing, rather than the typical cello and piano. And I think that kind of concept record is really unique. I've never heard anything like that. And Tristana was excited about it when I told her, and I really thought that her voice lended itself really well to something like that, because although Tristana has a beautiful voice and it's glassy, it's not super huge and powerful, and so I think it lends itself really well, and we've been really happy with what we've recorded so far. And
really knows more than I did at the time, but I now since have listened to a lot more albums out there that there was a need for it, and us as parents, when our kids are listening to this stuff, I mean, they listen to it over and over and over again, and
over.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm going to kill myself, and so it was also, we felt like there was a need for parents who had a little bit more of a sophisticated listening palette to create something that would fill that hole, And as far as like my son now, I mean, I don't want him listening to crap.
Right.
I want him to listen to a wide variety of stuff, but what I put on, I want it to be good, So it was also something thinking like along those lines, that the kids are not, I don't want to dumb it down for them,
Right. And I've had this idea about doing this, and so I said, hey, have you ever thought about doing something like this? And she said, I'd love to do something. I've been thinking about doing a record for a long time. I just never have. And I went to Berkeley, and then I've recorded before, and so on and so forth. So we talked about this idea, and Tristana was like, I love the idea of doing something like that.